The book I'm going to present you is maybe a little old, but I believe it's a very good book for learning the Open Sicilian. The two authors, I am Zhanibek, Amanov, and Kostya, Kavutskiy, have done a good job because the book is like nearly 600 pages long. However, it has some flaws, okay? The flaws are in the production of the book, okay? For example, I like very much that they present some example games, okay? The problem is that sometimes when they show you a variation, for example, this is the main line of the game, and then they show you this one that is just a different variation that is not part of the game that has been played. Unfortunately, it has the same bold character of a game, so you can be confused. And also the analysis diagram that comes out from that variation has the same size of the analysis of a diagram of a game. So that's kind of confusing for me. That should have been done better, okay? For me that is very important because sometimes you lose track of the things because you are watching the position, and so it's difficult. There are some exercises and the solution to the exercises, and there are, if I remember well, also an index of a variation. That is what I like, because sometimes you can immediately find the page to which that variation was treated, so that's kind of important. And of course you can use it to play correspondence games or games against the computer where you have more time to think, so you can consult the book for playing, okay? So this is very, very important in my opinion. So let's go to see one of the games from this book so you can realize if you like it or not. Okay, I'm going to present you game 6, Kazimjanov against Morozevich, Ismailov Memorial, Rapid 2006. The game begins with e4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes d4, and then we have knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, a6, h3, e6, g4, h6, bishop g2, and knight c6. And here the game shows a diagram, and the guy, the authors write, in the previous game we look at all the other reasonable moves here for black, including queen c7, bishop e7, knight b d7, and even g5. Against knight c6 we believe the white next move should be f4. The problem with the standard bishop e3 is that black has an extra option to play knight e5, which leads to a very complicated position. Okay, so this is why f4, because they want to prevent knight e5. Okay, this makes sense. Now, what did black play? Bishop d7, but now this is the problem. Like I told you, in this game we will focus on lines with the early development of this bishop, since in the previous game we examined all of black's other options for development. If instead black plays a move like bishop e7 or queen c7, Then after bishop e3 we will have transposed back into a line covered in previous game. So they say that if black plays this or this, after bishop e3 you go back into a line covered probably in game 5. Now after 9 bishop d7, and here it's the problem like I told you, there is now they say knight queen b6. So the problem is that you need to follow the book if you just want to see the game and find where it starts the game again, because there is no difference in the text between the analysis and the game. So we find that from page 68 we go at page 70, and now it says back to our game after 9 bd7, bishop d7, bishop e3. Okay. Then rook c8, and here it says one of the trickiest aspects of the Open Sicilian is that certain move orders can make all the difference, which means that a general understanding of the position is not always a substitute for concrete knowledge of certain details and nuances. Morozevich is quite well known for creativity in the opening, and here he demonstrates black's best move order for this line, avoiding the biggest dangers of white's setup. Here again they analyze, instead of rook c8, they analyze queen c7, and then I need to find where the game return. Let's see, I am not sure. Okay, so let's see, after rook c8, when does the game return to this? So 10 rook c8, it should be e11 as a move, or should be e11. Probably it's here, queen e2. I hope I got it right. If I didn't, hey, it's my fault, but again, there is no way in the book to actually know when you continue in the game from an analysis of the position. b5, here then there is another long analysis, and then it says, luckily, back to our game after 11 b5, a3, and here it proposes other moves that are knight b3, long castle, but again, go a3, queen c7, queen c7, let's hope. No, I'm not sure that queen c7 is the move played in the game. Let me see. So let's see, queen c7, knight b3, and here it says Zhanibek deserves credit for preventing black from getting counterplayed too early. And here there were two other moves, long castle and short castle, that they analyze. Let's see when we get back into the game. I don't know. Maybe it's bishop e7. Again, as you can see, they have made the book very, very difficult to follow. And I like this book very much, honestly, but maybe it would be better to have it in a kind of electronic format, because like this, it's very difficult to understand. Queen f2, castle, castle, and here it says Zhanov's decision to castle kingside may look modest at first, but it is probably white's most practical option. That's interesting, no? That he castle kingside and then he has already all this up. In the following game, he demonstrates that white's attack, although slower, can still be extremely dangerous. And here we show a line, and this is very funny at this point, because now they show the line with a long castle, but this time it's not in bold. It's all without bold, so this would be easy to see that is analysis, right? It's when they put it in bold that you cannot understand the difference between the game and the analysis. Queen b8, b4. Okay, sorry. No, b4 is still an analysis. Again, I just would like to show you this because I believe it's interesting. You can see here the 15 long castle that is not in bold, and poi if you go down the 15 before is in bold, so again you have difficulties to understand when there is an analysis and when it's the game, and for me it's kind of problematic. Okay, so I'm sorry if I bring it up often, but it's making this video very difficult. Rook a d1, bishop e8. I hope that is correct. A prophylactic move avoiding any danger to the bishop along the d5. Okay, bishop f3, and this is considered a good move, the start of a simple but deadly plan. White's idea is to play h3, h4, g4, g5, and open up the king side and checkmate the black king. Everybody wants always to checkmate the black king, who knows why. a5, and this is considered a dubious move. In hindsight, this is a questionable move and perhaps even a serious mistake. Can you imagine? We are a serious mistake. The simple explanation is that black is just too slow to create counterplay here, as white's kingside attack is very strong. So it seems the move to play was b4, maybe found by the computer, who knows, I don't know. So we are at 17, and I think now we return to the game, because here there is an analysis of few moves, and then I return to the game saying h4, b4, a takes b4, a takes b4, knight e2. And now he plays d5, allowing white to favorably close the center, but it is already late to suggest something else for black. And here again it shows you a line, knight h7, that is not in bold, so you immediately see that this is analysis compared to the game. Okay? e5, knight e4, bishop takes e4, d takes e4, g5, nope, sorry, g5, h takes g5, avoiding the exchange of pawns, with h5 can be made by knight g3, and white is better, where white is capturing the e4 pawn and then landing the knight on d6. Okay, so that's why this was played. H takes g5, knight takes e5. In desperation, Morozevich sacrifices a piece, as the threat of queen h4, and then of course king g2, rook h1, was otherwise unstoppable. Practically speaking, this was probably black's only chance to complicate white's task. Okay, let's see. F takes e5, rook takes c2. Now at least black has some activity and potential threats, but Kazimjanov keeps focus on the king side and accurately continues the attack. Knight b d4, rook takes b2, and queen h4, and here there is a sign from the informant that says that white has a decisive advantage. Practically in this position, maybe for the computer, white has won the game. Queen takes e5, rook f2, bishop a4, rook d f1. Both players were very likely in time trouble here, so we'll have to excuse Kazimjanov for taking a slower but steady path to victory. And of course he says that instead of this, this would have been quite a mistake. Okay? Try to find out why, because practically black would have sacrificed the queen, he takes back, and he takes here, so the queen for 2 rooks. Okay, that's the reason. Okay, so however, instead of this move, it seems this would have finished the game on the spot, he says. Okay. Let's see what happened after rook d f1, if we can find the continuation. Let's see, I'm not sure I can find it. Let's see, g6, maybe, rook h2, queen g7, and now there is knight c6. In the air it says, yet even with very little time a strong attacker can find tactics like this very quickly. Bishop takes e6, bishop d4. That's why he wanted to vacate the d4 square. Very good, yeah. e5, bishop takes b2. With an extra rook and powerful attack, white is of course completely winning. But he could have also played bishop takes e5, okay? So here there is a line. Again, strangely, the bishop takes e5 is without bold character, so you can see immediately that it's an analysis, okay? Bishop c5, check. King h1, rook e8, and now rook c1. Now there is a diagram, but the game ends in a few moves, and I will just show you the moves. Bishop d4, knight takes d4, bishop d5, knight e2, b3, knight c3, bishop a8, knight takes c4, f5, g takes f6, this is the famous en passant, g5, f takes g7, g takes h4, rook takes h4, king takes g7, king h2, so this is free, king g6, and rook g1. And this ends the game. At this point, Morozevich threw the towel. Notice, again, the book, in my opinion, is really good because, for example, at the end they also have these memory markers, so it's really good. Unfortunately, it's really difficult to follow the games, but it's a beautiful book. And if you want to learn about the Open Sicilian, definitely the one to try to take, okay?